So, this is my first sort of, should we say my first sort of review, my first ownership review, slash sort of check-in on how's the bike going, the new bike experience, KTM slash Husqvarna in general sort of perspective. So, I've had the bike nearly a month now, maybe going on a month, and I'm approaching my mileage limit for the break-in. I've got to keep some in reserve so I can actually get to the dealer and get the service done. So yeah, I'm getting close to what I can do, and then I've got to wait until service time before I can unleash the beast fully. So yeah, break-in's been alright, to be fair. It's being such a torquey bike, you don't really need to rev it up in order to just sort of ride around and get some miles done. So it's not been too bad in that regard. I have had some issues though. It's not all hunky-dory, unfortunately, which surprise surprise, man buys KTM product and has issues, but there you go. You pay the price for the excitement and the Gucci-ness and whatever, however you want to call it. A lot of the European bikes, they've got that little extra something. I mean, none of the big four in Japan are making a big Supermoto these days, are they? I think the last one they made was probably the DRZ. I think they still make that for a lot of the world, but you can't get them in the UK, and it's carbed anyway. It's a different kind of bike to what this is. And then of course you've got the Hondas, the FMX Funduro. Oh god. Hi there, I've got a Funduro in the car park. Fancy going for a ride? It's not the one. It's not the one. I won't force you to listen to any more of that, whatever that voice slash impression is supposed to be. Lost my train of thought now. That's completely derailed me, that weird impression, imagined impression I've just done. Yeah, where was I? So yes, I've had issues. I've got some paint bubbling on one of the engine cases. I believe the bike has been overfilled with oil, and I've also got some sort of oil leak or seepage, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly where. So I've had issues, but the dealer, they're sorting me out. It doesn't mean it's not a headache. It is a faff. You buy something new and you want it to be perfect, and when it's not, it does kind of feel like you've been cheated in a way. But I think when you buy a new bike, you're the guinea pig for that bike. Any issues it's going to have, as the first owner, you're probably going to have them and have to deal with them. But it's all been sorted out. So I emailed the salesman that sold me the bike and asked him to put me in contact with the service department, and he said he would. That was on a Tuesday. On the Friday I'd heard nothing, so I gave him a nudge and said, look, can you give the service team a poke? I'd like to get some answers before the weekend. It would be nice. Still nothing. So on the Saturday I had to I went and found the customer relations email address and emailed that, asking for an update, like, I've been waiting since Tuesday, what's going on? And then I get a call on Monday from the customer relations manager saying that the guy I'd been emailing had left the company. He'd moved on. So he told me he was sorting it out. The service team, they were unaware of my query. So he was leaving his job. Final week, he'd already checked out. So yeah, it's a bit of a dick move, but I don't know why he was leaving. He might have had some family issues or whatever else. Not everyone's always on top of their game, so that's fair enough. And I can't blame the dealer for that either, because when I did bring it to their attention, they've rang me up and they've explained it all. So I've been put in touch with the service manager, the warranty claims guy. They put a warranty claim in for the engine cover, which has been accepted, so I'm going to get a brand new engine cover. Just because of a bit of bubbling paint, they've got to replace the whole engine cover. But what else can you do? It probably costs them more to get it resprayed or whatever, so chuck a new one on. I checked the prices, it's like going on like 700 quid I think for a new, I think it's the clutch cover. So yeah, not a cheap part by any means, but that's why we have warranties, isn't it? So yeah, that's going to get, oh, nice bit of gravel there, lovely. That's going to get changed out, and they're going to look into the oil leak at the same time, because it's hard to pinpoint these things. You know, a photograph of the underneath of a bike with various oil patches on it, you're not going to be able to diagnose that over email, are you? So they'll have a look at that. My theory though is that, I mentioned earlier, I suspect the bike has been overfilled. And if it's been overfilled, in theory the oil pressure would be higher than it should be, and so ergo facto, vis-a-vis, to be all Ricky Gervaisy about it. I love the UK office, by the way. It's underrated compared to the US one. Both are good, but the UK one it's a different animal. But yeah, I think the high oil pressure might be causing the oil to seep out of various locations. That would be the easiest fix to the problem, you know, because if they end up having to split engine cases and take the whole thing apart, that would suck. If it's just the case that the bike's overfilled and the oil pressure's making the oil come out, I can fix that. So after this ride, I'm going to check the oil level. I know it's high, I've checked it already, and I'm going to take some oil out and correct it, and then the next ride I do will probably be down to the dealer, so that's a fairly long ride, so I can look under the bike and see if there is any leakage, they'll be fresh and it might be easier to see where it's been coming from. Yeah, so it's had problems. It has had problems. Oh, and I've put a fuel optimizer dongle on it. You can see now I'm in 4th and I'm cruising between 30 and 40. No way I could have done that without the fuel optimizer thing. It's like a dongle that goes in line between your O2 sensor and the bike. It doesn't block off the O2 sensor, it goes in line with it and corrects it somehow. I don't really know what it, and I think it richens the fuel mixture in the low RPMs, which basically allows you to cruise in a higher gear without the bike being all like hesitant and lurching. It still does it a bit. It's not perfect, but it's a bandage, and a much needed bandage, and it's going to allow me to put up with the bike basically until I have the wherewithal and the funds to get the thing remapped, because that is the real solution, isn't it? It's a shame it can't come out the factory mapped properly, but you know, that's just the world we live in. That you're not supposed to come out there, I don't think. So it's been interesting. This is not a good word, is it, when you're describing an ownership? Interesting, that's just like a polite way of saying a bit problematic, isn't it? But alas, it's all being sorted, so can't complain too much. Oh god, almost got fucking killed by that Ford. What's it called? Whatchamacallit? Right, now I'm on my raw dog food mission. We've put our dog on raw food because she kept getting ear infections, and she's never been much of an eater, but on this raw food she just absolutely devours it. So I'm off to get some of that gear. Check in after I've got kilos of raw meat in my backpack. Okay, we're back. Except this time I got 4 kilos of raw meat on my back. The centrifugal forces that will be exerted upon my body if I go over these handlebars, they don't bear thinking about. You gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta keep that dog happy and healthy. She used to fucking ignore her food, but this raw stuff, she is absolutely mental for it. She's a big girl too, so I've got 4 kilos of it in my bag. She'll get through that in 4 days. A kilo a day, man. She's more expensive to feed than me. Yeah. So I have ordered, now I've got all that warranty stuff out of the way, I felt confident to get some more mods ordered. I didn't need much of a... didn't take much to fire that starting pistol, shall we say. So yeah, wings exhaust in the post. Absolutely hyped for that. The hype is real. And if it comes before the service, it's going to be really hard to not fit it before the service, but I should be able to hold out if I try my very best. But yeah, my powers of restraint aren't always the best, especially when it comes to modding up this puppy, this playful pup. I hate this bend because they all cut the corner and end up in the turning lane. The sooner I can get through here, the better. Perfect. It hasn't all been hunky-dory, but mostly has. I'm happy with my choice. I think I'll be even happier once it's got a raspy exhaust on it. It's kind of a... it's a must. I think it's been designed into the bike. The standard exhaust can, it contains the cat. So all the way up to the end can is just pipe. So you change the end can and you free up. The airflow is just improved so much. And the sound, of course, as well. But the wings exhaust, it comes with 2 different baffles. So you can adjust the volume. You can have no baffle and be loud as fuck, a louder baffle, and then a quieter baffle. So you can you can tune it based on what you're doing with the bike and your preferences, which I really appreciate. So yeah, I think the fact that they've incorporated everything into one ugly stock can, I think that kind of tells you they're making life easier for the modders. They're making life easier. They know what people do with these bikes. You know, I don't know if I said this before on the video, but when I was talking to the dealer before I bought the bike, you know, what's it like, warranty, mods, etc. They're pretty much like, you know, KTM, Husqvarna, they understand what these bikes are all about, and they're not going to void your warranty if you've got an exhaust and an intake, or if you've had the ECU flashed. You know, as long as it's not been f***ed about with in such an obvious way that it's going to hurt the bike, they're going to honour things, from what I've been told. So you've got to respect them in that sense. You know, they're playing by the rules. They're still letting you buy these things new. Yes, the throttle mapping is disgusting, like the fueling is just up. It's got a shit exhaust on it, but the fact that they're selling it like that, they're still allowing people to buy it and have these experiences and own these bikes. And it's just a shame you have to mod them up so much to get the best out of them. But riding it standard hasn't been unfun. Don't get me wrong, this thing is a hoot, even standard. But yeah, I'm on a journey with it now to just optimize it, shall we say, and get it where it needs to be. So yeah, once this braking is done, I'm on 518 miles now. The service is at 600 miles, but they give you a 10% leeway as well, so in theory I could go to 660, would it be? Yeah, I've got a bit of margin, so I'll probably be out again after I've fixed the oil level to see if it's helped at all. But then it'll be off to the dealer for the service. That is next Monday. It's Tuesday now, so yeah, not long to go. I booked the day off because getting weekend appointments at dealer service, it's just not going to happen. Not this year. Like, that is the first thing to get booked up, isn't it? So yeah, unfortunately have to book a day off for that. But once that first service is done, that'll be me and the bike then for the next year until the next service. And I think I will drop the oil myself halfway, just for peace of mind and just to familiarise myself with the process, because once the 2-year warranty is up, I'm probably going to do the changes, all the servicing myself, you know, until something goes wrong or major work needs undertaking. So it'd be a good thing to familiarise myself with the bike before that happens, so I'm not left to my own devices when it really matters. I'm enjoying it. I am definitely going to have to test ride the new ZX6R. I think it's out this month. Looking forward to that. See what I'm missing out on, because it was basically between this and the new ZX6R. Because I test rode one in 2019 and it's basically the same bike but with new emissions stuff and a TFT screen on it. So it'll be interesting to compare my feelings, because I'm not going to remember exactly what the 2019 one was like. no one can remember how a bike feels 4 years later, but it'll be interesting to see how it feels compared to this. It's like chalk and cheese, like the style of the bike. But what will the fun factor be like? Oh, see, a ZX6R is all well and good when you're screaming, but this, you can just give it little tickles now and then in the urban environment, and you're not going supersonic speeds and you're not upsetting everyone. Maybe it'll be more upsetting when I've got the exhaust on, but you can just have so much fun without going stupid speeds. She giving me a death stare. What was that look for? Oh, you bastard. I'll leave you there anyway. Thanks for watching. See you next time.